Okay, well, class, today I, Abhishek Kumar Pandey, going to start the first chapter of Geography book of class 10th, that is Resource and Development. And if I just remind you that you have also read this chapter in class 8 of your NCERT textbook. Actually, the NCERT textbook of class 8 was named as Resource and Development. So we have read lots of things about resource and its development in class 8. So we will proceed further by new definitions and by new ideas. Hope you will like it. And this is most easiest chapter of the geography because half of it you have read already in class 8. So at first we just come to the definition of the resource. And the definition which is given in the first page and first paragraph of NCERT book, it is a most beautiful definition I have ever found anywhere. And it is given that everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable, can be termed as resource. So try to memorize this definition, and I'm just trying to explain it. Anything which satisfy human need. That is first criteria. Provided means in Hindi we say basarte. It should fulfill some conditions which are just below. First one is it should be technologically accessible. It means for making any resource, there should be technology. Suppose that if I just have bauxite, but we don't have the technique to extract the minerals from it, then this will not come under this resource. And second one is economically feasible. It means feasible, if you just go through the dictionary meaning of the term feasible, it means practical. So it should be economically practical. Suppose for extraction of 1 kg iron, there is a cost of 500 rupees. And if you just sell it in market, then we get only 400 rupees. It means we have the loss of 100 rupees. It means this resource will not come in the economically feasible. It means economically practical. And last one is culturally acceptable. It means the culture of that area should accept it. For example, if someone say that the Puri, that we have some mineral resource beneath the Puri temple, Jagannath Puri temple, but our culture will not permit them to just extract it. And some resources in some countries also, some says that no, this is against our culture, this is against our ethics. So we cannot believe them as a resource. So for resource, 4 things will be there. First one is anything which satisfy our human need, and it should also be economically feasible, culturally acceptable, and technologically accessible. And we just go to the next part of this chapter. And here you can see the triangle and having 3 vertices. You are knowing that triangle having 3 vertices. In the first vertex, it is physical environment. Second one is technology. Third one is institutions. And it is written that human beings interact with their nature through technology and create institutions to accelerate the economic development. I am just taking one example. Suppose that if we just extract the petroleum, then in the physical environment, in the nature, petroleum is there, like Mumbai High, Kalol, Ankleshwar, and we should have the proper technology to extract it from the oceans. And for that, the people also make institution. Institution means we can say just a group of the people, like the Kendriya Vidyalaya is also institutions, nowadays also institutions. So for the petroleum extraction, you are knowing that ONGC is the institutions which try to do such type of things like oil, natural gas corporations. So for making anything resources, it's the human which makes them the resource. So if you just read in the class 8, in the 3 broad classifications, there were the 3 classifications: natural resource, human made resource and human resource, and human skills make anything resources. That's why Zimmerman, you will just read in the higher classes, he once quoted that resources are not but they become. संसाधन होते नहीं है बल्कि बनाए जाते हैं due to with the help of technology and skill of the persons. Now we just talk about the broad classification of the resources. So here it is written that on the basis of origin, it's biotic and abiotic. On the basis of exhaustibility, कि कितना जल्दी वो खत्म हो जाए, it's renewable and non-renewable. On the basis of ownership, individual, community, national, international. On the basis of status of development, its potential, developed, stock and reserve. And you have to try to just memorize it, because in the board examination, many times 1 marks question has come that on the basis of origin, classify the resource. On the basis of exhaustibility, classify the resource. And once this question that on the basis of ownership, classify the resource, it has come in 5 marks questions, and it is very simple to memorize. Like you will start from your own self, individual, then just go a little further, community, then national, then international, and we will discuss one by one in the next slides. Then first one is types of resource on the basis of origin. First one is biotic resource. You are reading the book biology. Bio means life, logy means study. Like that, this terms comes from biotic. In Hindi we say jaiv, जिसमें जान हो, which are the just normally the living things like human, animal. And abiotic, means not. Generally in English, a term is used, we can say a prefix is used to describe about not, like abnormal, like the abiotic. It means which is not biotic. It means which is not living. So biotic resources, these are obtained from the biosphere and have life such as human beings, flora and fauna, fisheries, livestock. Abiotic resources, all those things which are composed of non-living things are called abiotic resources. For example, rocks and metals, you have to memorize the basis and different examples. And next one is types of resource on the basis of exhaustibility, कि कौन कितना जल्दी exhaust हो जाए, खत्म हो जाए. Sometimes it is in data is exhausted, means खत्म हो जाना. Then again it is divided into renewable and non-renewable resources. In Hindi we say नवीकरणीय संसाधन और अनवीकरणीय संसाधन. So renewable resources are generally renewed in less time, like solar and wind energy. But non-renewable resources take millions of years to renew. You have to take one thing into account. That non-renewable doesn't mean that which is not renewed. It means that which takes millions of years to renew, like mineral and fossil fuels. And if you see the definition, it is written, the resources which can be renewed or reproduced by physical, chemical or mechanical process are known as renewable or replenishable resources. For example, solar and wind energy. And non-renewable resources, these occur over very long geological time to renew, like mineral and fossil fuels. Next one is types of resource on the basis of ownership. It is very much simple, but you have to memorize it, because once this question has come in the board examination, that write the different types of resources on the basis of ownership. So first one is individual, second one is community, third one is national, fourth one is international. If you just make the code ICNI, I for individual, C for community, and for national, and it's I for international. It's just acronym. Sometimes making acronyms makes things simpler to memorize. Individual resource generally which are owned by the individuals, like our pen, books, ponds, water. Community resource which are just accessible to all the members of community, like public park. National resources, technically all the resources belong to the nations. All the minerals, water, resources, forest, boundaries and oceanic area up to 12 nautical miles is known as, and you can just change the nautical miles into the kilometer. 12 equal to 22.2 kilometers, then by using unity method you can just calculate. You must be good at mathematics. Next one is international resources. And these resources are just governed by the international bodies, and these resources are the beyond 200 nautical miles of exclusive economic zone belong to the open nations, and no individual country can utilize this without occurrence of international institutions. And next one is types of resources on the basis of a status of development. This part you have to be totally minute because all the resources are just mixing up. कभी लगता है पोटेंशियल की कुछ क्वालिटी डेवलप में है, डेवलप की कुछ स्टॉक में, स्टॉक की कुछ रिजर्व में, तो थोड़े थोड़े से हेयर डिफरेंसेस हैं. आप उस की पॉइंट को ध्यान में रखेंगे. एट फर्स्ट आई जस्ट रीड resources, potential resources which are found in region but have not been utilized. It means sometimes our parents say that my child has potential but they do not do anything. It means they are not reading. Potential means you are having some quality. Like that, potential resources are found somewhere, but region is not just utilizing it. There is an example of the solar energy like Rajasthan and Gujarat. In examination also it has come that in western part of India, particularly Rajasthan and Gujarat, has this type of resources, and it's solar energy. You have to totally precise in the chapter because you are knowing that in the board examination, for 1 marks 20 questions comes, and they can ask anything. Second one is developed resources. It means resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilizations. And the development of resources depends on technology and their level of feasibility. And third one is materials, the environment which have, that is stock, materials in the environment which have the potential to satisfy the human needs. But human beings do not know the appropriate technology to assess this, are included among stock. It means what? There are resources, but we don't know the technology, means know-how. For example, there is one good example that you are knowing that water is formed from hydrogen and oxygen. In the sciences we say H2O, it means hydrogen plus oxygen. But till now there is no technology to just split up the water into hydrogen and oxygen in the large scale. We are knowing that in the laboratory electrolysis process are there that we do there, but in the large scale it is not there. And if it is possible, think that we can have the good amount of hydrogen and oxygen, and hydrogen can be used for the energy resources. And last one is reserve. It is a part of the stock. It is a subset of stock, but here technology is known, but it is not being used. So fourth resource is there, potential resources found in region but have not been utilized. Developed resources, quality and quantities known for the utilizations, and it depends on the technology level of feasibility. Stock, they don't have the technology to just utilize. But reserves, they know the technology but they are not utilizing it. So you have to a bit memorize it. So it's up to all the classifications. We can just see once that what are the classifications on the origin, biotic, abiotic, exhaustibility, renewable, non-renewable, ownership, individual, community, national and international, and the status of development, PDSR, potential, developed stock and reserve. Next part, we are coming about development of resource as a topic suggests resource and development. So we have just seen the resource part, now development. As you are knowing that nothing is in infinite quantity. So we said just use the resources with our will, that if it is not so, then resources once exhausted cannot be replenished. And you are knowing that in the world there are uneven distribution of resources. Some data say that 99% resources are having in hand of only 1% people. Just think about the uneven distribution of resources. And you are knowing that it was believed that resources are the free gifts of the nature, but major problems due to indiscriminate use of the resources. In higher classes you will read one theory of Gaianism, that is that nature had built both human and God has built both human and nature, and human thinks that we have to exploit the nature, but it is not so. We should just believe in the sustainable development, and we will come further about the concept of sustainable development. You have also read in the class 8. So due to the indiscriminate use of resources, there are major 3 problems. First one is, and this question also comes in the examination, that depletion of resources for satisfying the greed of few individuals, that if we just utilize more resources, it will be depleted. And second one is accumulation of resources in some few hands have divided a whole world into rich and poor, that is haves and have not. And third one is, if you just excessive use the resources, you are knowing that we are having some ecological crises and problems like ozone depletion. So 3 points are there. नॉर्मली क्या है, अगर आप रिसोर्स ज़्यादा यूज करेंगे तो ख़त्म हो जाएगा. दूसरा है कि कुछ लोगों के पास है और कुछ लोगों के पास नहीं है, इसलिए दुनिया 2 भागों में डिवाइडेड हो गई है, गरीब और अमीर. और ज़्यादा गलत तरीके से यूज करने से क्या हो रहा है कि कई सारे इकोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम्स हो रहे हैं, लाइक ग्लोबल वार्मिंग. So for the solution of this, we are having the sustainable development. Term sustainable means which is sustained for the long time. And for sustainable development definition, we should think about 2 points. First one is, sustainable development means development should take place without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of future generations. It means we should use the resource such a way that it should be left for coming generation, and it should also not pollute the environment. And this is developed due to the Brundtland Commission, but in the book it is not written. In the higher classes you will read. And it is due to the Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit that was done in the Brazil in 1992, and their Agenda 21 was discussed about our common future. You will read in the books. Next. Now, if resources are so much important, then we should try to plan it, because we are knowing that India is a diversified country. Odisha has different characteristics, Delhi has different characteristics, Himachal has different characteristics, Jharkhand has different characteristics, and many resources are localized. They are not ubiquitous in the nature that it will found everywhere in the country. So if we do not plan it, then different part of country will not have the resources. So resource planning is the act of allocating and utilizing resources to achieve maximal efficiency of those resources. And here it is written that there are the regions which are rich in certain types of resources but are deficient in some other resources. I am taking one example. That for example, the states of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh are rich in minerals and coal deposits, but may have less something. Like in Rajasthan, you are knowing that there is good abundance of solar and wind energy, but do not have more water resources. And you will read different examples there. So it is very necessary to plan the resources, otherwise it will be exhausted. And if it is necessary to plan the resources, then we should have certain steps of the resource planning. इसमें आप देखेंगे कि सबसे पहले आप कहीं भी अगर रिसोर्स प्लान करें तो वहाँ का सर्वे कीजिए. सर्वे करने के बाद आप उसमें देखिए कि कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी यूज हो रही है, और अगर इसी टाइप के रिसोर्स प्लानिंग कहीं और हुई होगी तो वी शुड जस्ट try to match it. Then see the first one. Identification and inventory of resources across the regions of the country. This involves surveying, mapping and qualitative and quantitative estimation and measurement of the resources. Second one is evolving a planning structure endowed with the appropriate technology, skill and institutional setup for the implementing resources development plans. And third one is very much important, matching the resource development plans with the overall national plans. Just suppose that if in certain state like in the UP, certain resource planning is there, then they should also see that in any part of country, is it going on or is it happened earlier, then we should just try to match it out. For example, there is DVC project, Damodar Valley Corporation project, and it was just set up after the independence. It is about the multi-purpose project, establishment of dam. And you will read in the further in the vital sources that Nehruji once quoted that it are the temples of modern India. And Nehruji once when see the TVA, Tanzania Valley Authority, and they had just tried to implement such type of projects in India. And so we should also try to conserve the resources, otherwise it will be exhausted. And once Gandhiji told that there is enough for everybody's need and not for anybody's greed. लोगों के उपयोग करने के लिए दुनिया में बहुत सारी रिसोर्सेस हैं, लेकिन लोभ के लिए नहीं. And we are knowing that sometimes resources are just activated for the sake of just putting it. So we just try to conserve the resources if it is so much important. And now we are going to read about the land resources, and you have also read in the second chapter of the class 8 that you can see the percentage. Land is very much important because all the activities are going in the land, whether it is a school, whether it is playground, whether it is a factory, whether it is a transport, roads. So land has enormous functions. And if you just see that from this pie chart, that in the plain area there is 43%, mountains 30%, and plateau region has 27%, and it has different functions. So again we just come to the land utilizations. 5 points are there, so it may be the ideal, it may be an ideal question for the board examinations. And previous what we have discussed about resource planning, that generally comes in the board examinations. And if you have internal examination or pre-board examination, then you must be aware that this is one of the favorite questions of the teachers, that what are the different steps of resource planning. So just try to memorize it. And land resources are utilized for the following purposes. First one is forest, कहीं जंगल है. Second one is land not available for cultivation, वहाँ खेती नहीं हो रही. It may be barren land or it may be non-agriculture uses, like जहाँ building है वहाँ खेती नहीं होगी. Third one is other uncultivated land excluding fallow land, कि जहाँ खेती नहीं हो रही. Fallow means in Hindi we say the परती भूमि. Fallow it doesn't mean that that is barren. हम लोग कहते हैं ना कि वो उसका दिमाग फैलो है, खाली है, वो कुछ करता नहीं. इसका मतलब कि वो कर नहीं सकता. And it is permanent pastures and grazing land, land under miscellaneous tree crops, cultivable wasteland. And next one is fallow land. Fallow land is current fallow. It is written left without cultivation for 1 or less than 1 agriculture years. And second one is other than current fallow land, left uncultivated for the past 1 to 5 years. And last one is net sown area. Net sown area sown more than once in agriculture year, plus net sown area is gross cropped area. ये gross cropped area के बारे में वैसे net sown area means when one crop is cultivated in any land for a year, it is called the net sown area. So 5 points are there for land utilization: F, L, O, F, N. You can just make the proper acronym to just memorize. It is land utilization means how do we utilize the land. Somewhere there are forests, buildings, grazing lands, and agricultural lands, and some are just barren land. So you have to just see one by one. And it is next one is land use pattern, that how in India land is being utilized, what are the different patterns, and it is determined by 2 factors. It is written physical factor, just a topography, climate, soil types. Suppose that if the topography of any area is not so much plain, so it will be not good for cultivation of any crop. If the topography of any area will suitable for any crop, like the tea is done in the topography means topos means area, means the area of any place. And climate, you are knowing that we do not have the grapes and apples in all parts of country. Generally it comes from Himachal and Kashmir, because there are such type of climate. And soil also, it is necessary that all soils are not suitable for different crops. We will read further about the soils in this chapter. And second one is human factors such as population density, technological capability, culture and traditions also. Like population density is also important. If some area is highly populated, then there will be no place for the agricultural land or different land. So किसी भी जगह पर लैंड का किस तरीके से यूज हो रहा है वो वहाँ के फिजिकल और ह्यूमन फैक्टर के पर डिपेंड करता है. अब मुंबई है तो वहाँ लोगों की संख्या ज़्यादा है, दिल्ली है तो लोगों की संख्या ज़्यादा है, तो वहाँ ज़्यादा एग्रीकल्चर नहीं होगी, बिल्डिंग्स होंगे. एंड टोटल जोग्राफिकल एरिया, यू नो दैट इट इज़ 3.28 million square kilometer, and forest area in India is 21%, but as per the national forest policy it should be 33%. So we just try to do the afforestation, पेड़ लगाना है, so that we can just take the ideal one 33%. And for your information only, that MP has largest percentage of forest in India. So you can say again the pie chart, it is given you NCERT book, that जनरल लैंड यूज कैटेगरीज फ्रॉम 1960 to 61 से लेकर फिर आगे 2008 और 2009 का दो बीच में पाई चार्ट दिया हुआ, दोनों में जस्ट आपको कंपेयर करके देखना है कि पहले फॉरेस्ट कितना था, बाद में फॉरेस्ट कितना हुआ, बैरन लैंड कितना है. जैसे आप देख सकते हैं कि इन स्टार्टिंग 1960 to 61 द बैरन लैंड वाज 12.01%, but in 2008 it is just diminished about 8.61%. So you can just see the trends कि लैंड यूज 1960 से लेकर 61 में क्या था और 2008 से लेकर 2009 के बीच में क्या है. तो इससे आपको कंपेयर करने में सुविधा होगा. नेक्स्ट वन इज इफ लैंड इज सो मच इम्पॉर्टेंट सो यू आर नोइंग दैट इट मे बी डिग्रेडेड. डिग्रेड का मतलब हुआ ग्रेड का कम होना, डी मतलब फिर होता कम होना, जैसे ये प्रीफिक्स है. तो इसमें आप नेक्स्ट पार्ट पढ़ेंगे कि लैंड डिग्रेडेशन एंड कंजर्वेशनल मेजर्स क्या है. सो आई एम जस्ट डिस्क्राइबिंग वन बाय वन कॉजेज ऑफ लैंड डिग्रेडेशन. फर्स्ट वन इज डिफॉरेस्टेशन, जंगलों का काटना. इफ यू जस्ट कट द फॉरेस्ट देन द लैंड होल्डिंग कैपेसिटी विल बी लेस, और इसके कारण क्या होगा, ऊपरी की जो मृदा है डेड सॉइल वो बह के बारिश के साथ जा सकती है. एंड माइनिंग साइट्स अगर आप एक्सवेटेड कर रहे हैं तो ऊपर का लैंड आप कम कर सकते हैं. फिर समटाइम्स ओवर ग्रेजिंग ऑल्सो, दैट द एरियाज वेयर एनिमल्स आर मोर, वहाँ क्या है कि अधिक से अधिक जानवरों से घास चरा दे रहे हैं, जिसके कारण फिर वो ज़मीन पर कुछ होल्ड करने के लिए होगा नहीं, तो फिर से वहाँ से लैंड इरोजन हो सकता है. एंड इन सम स्टेट्स ओवर इरिगेशंस के कारण क्या हो रहा है, उसकी एल्केनिटी और सैलिनिटी जो सॉइल की धीरे धीरे बढ़ रही है. तो अगर लैंड डिग्रेडेड हो रहा है तो हमें इसे कंजर्व करने का भी प्रयास करना चाहिए. कुछ तरीके हैं, जैसे अगर आप पेड़ काट रहे हैं तो पेड़ नहीं काटना चाहिए. डिफॉरेस्टेशन की जगह पर हम अफॉरेस्टेशन कर सकते हैं. ओवर ग्रेजिंग नहीं करना है, ओवर इरिगेशन नहीं करना है. मतलब जो आप इधर रीजन्स देखिए कि व्हाट आर द रीजन्स ऑफ लैंड डिग्रेडेशंस. जो रीजन्स हैं वो अगर हम नहीं करें तो वो आपके कंजर्वेशन में हो जाएगा. लाइक लैंड कंजर्वेशन मेजर्स, फर्स्ट वन इज अफॉरेस्टेशन, सेकंड वन इज प्लांटिंग ऑफ शेल्टर बेल्ट. यू हैव रेड इन द क्लास 8. हिंदी में इसको रक्षक मेखला कहते हैं कि ट्रीज को एक रो में लगा देते हैं ताकि वो तेज हवाओं को रोक सके. एंड थर्ड वन इज कंट्रोल ऑन ओवर ग्रेजिंग. नेक्स्ट वन एस्टैब्लिशिंग सैंड ड्यून्स बाय ग्रोइंग थ्रॉनी बुशेस. कि क्या होता है सैंड ड्यून्स, आप जानते हैं 7th में आपने पढ़ा है कि जो रेगिस्तान का एरिया होता है, डेजर्ट एरिया होता है, वहाँ बालू के टीला उड़ते उड़ते जाता है. तो अगर उसको अगर रोकना है तो हमें हर जगह थ्रोनी बुशेस बना देना चाहिए ताकि वो क्या है सैंड ड्यून्स वहाँ बना रहे. और एक जगह से दूसरी जगह, और सैंड ड्यून्स बनने का प्रोसेस ही है, सैंड ड्यून्स लोएसिस आप पढ़ेंगे कि एक एरियाज के सामने वो घेर के हो जाते हैं. तो इट मीन्स वी हैव टू अफॉरेस्टेट द एरिया, पेड़ों को लगाना. एंड प्रॉपर मैनेजमेंट ऑफ वेस्टलैंड, कंट्रोल ऑफ माइनिंग एक्टिविटीज़. माइनिंग के कारण भी हो रहा है अगर लैंड डिग्रेडेशन, तो माइनिंग एक्टिविटीज़ को कंट्रोल करना है. एंड प्रॉपर डिस्चार्ज एंड डिस्पोजल ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल इफ्लुएंस ऑफ वेस्ट आफ्टर ट्रीटमेंट. सो इट्स ऑल अबाउट the today's part in which you have read about meaning of resource, types of resource, resource development, resource conservations, land use pattern, land degradations and different conservations. And next part, that is soil, we will read in the next slide. So thank you for today's. Hope that you will like it and try to just make the notes about this chapter. Thank you.